Hi, Ron and Ann here with another of our weekly segments highlighting God's faithfulness through 50 years of ministry here at Crossroads.
A lot has happened since June the 2nd, 1962, when David Mainse first went on television. And we've been taking a few minutes each week leading up to the anniversary to see how well you know some of that history and have a little fun at the same time.
Yeah, and what better way to do it than with trivia questions? If you missed some of our previous questions, you can watch them online at crossroads.ca and just click on the 50th anniversary icon.
Absolutely. While in the beginning, Crossroads may have started out as a local TV outreach, over the years it has grown into not only a national, but an international ministry, employing media beyond television.
One of those ventures was the creation of a Witness for Christ at various World Expos through the unique outreach pavilion-style outreach. The first one being the Pavilion of Promise at Expo 86 in Vancouver.
So our first question is, with how many World Expos has Crossroads been directly involved? 2, 3, 4, 5?
Well, here with the answer is Bruce Stacy, who was the creative director of the Pavilion of Promise, as well as the composer of the Scroll musical that was featured there. Now, my iPhone camera and I caught up with Bruce here at Crossroads. Just in the hall here, in front of a wall mural depicting those various expos. Here he is.
The answer is 4. 4 World Expos where Crossroads presented the Pavilion of Promise, beginning with Expo 86 in Vancouver, where we had those 3 unique theaters telling the story of creation, the life of Christ, and a hope for eternity, narrated by the famous British commentator Malcolm Muggeridge. What a privilege to work with Malcolm Muggeridge. And then from Canada, we moved to Australia for Expo 88, where we revised the program, added Australian animals in the creative exhibit there. Another fantastic impact there, where millions at both of those fairs traveled through the Pavilion of Promise. Then we moved to Seville, Spain in Expo 92, right in the heart of Europe. Another great opportunity to present the gospel. We added a special children's exhibit there based on our Kingdom Adventure series. And then finally to Hanover, Germany in the year 2000 for the official youth pavilion at that Hanover Fair, a story based on a modern retelling of the prodigal son. So there you have it, 4 expos for Crossroads and the Pavilion of Promise.
So the answer is C. Crossroads has been involved in 4 World Expos.
Yes, as Bruce said, 4 World Expos. Now, I teased Bruce about that afterward, because after off camera, Bruce realized that he had held up 5 fingers instead, and he said off camera that, well, maybe it was prophetic about what Crossroads maybe should be involved in another one someday.
You never know. Okay. Okay, let's move on to our second question. It ties in with Expo 86 in Vancouver as well. Okay, toward the end of the 5-month outreach, Bruce Stacy was commissioned by the United Nations to connect with the other pavilions from around the world and write a song and then produce a music video on the theme of peace.
The result was a beautiful and moving production called Peace on Earth, which was featured at the closing ceremonies of Expo 86, as well as used worldwide by the United Nations. But something quite amazing happened with that video.
Which leads us to our next question. Which prominent world leader viewed the Peace on Earth music video in 1986? Pope John Paul II, Ronald Reagan, Brian Mulroney, or Mikhail Gorbachev?
Well, I asked David Mainse to give us the answer and reflect on its significance.
The answer is 2 of those world leaders, Mikhail Gorbachev of the Soviet Union and Ronald Reagan of the United States. And they watched it at the summit in Reykjavik, Iceland. And the Cold War was very much present, the evil empire of which Reagan was speaking, but something happened. There was a chemistry as a result of that song which Bruce Stacy had composed, and representatives of each pavilion at the Expo 86 in Vancouver were singing that. And at the close of watching that song, it's reported that Reagan and Gorbachev began to talk about total disarmament. And their prearranged press releases were totally destroyed by that. And then at the closing exercises of Expo 86 in the BC Place Stadium, Patrick Reed, Commissioner General, he announced that they had viewed this Peace on Earth video And then he went running across the floor to join the choir, the Expo choir, which was led by our own Bruce Stacy.
So it was a trick question. The answer was both Ronald Reagan and Mikhail Gorbachev.
It was quite phenomenal that both of those mega world leaders actually sat down together and watched that music video produced by our Crossroads team.
Produced by our Crossroads. I love that. Yeah. And so as we are celebrating the 50th anniversary of Crossroads here, we want to invite you to come and spend some time with us here at the Crossroads Center.
There are lots of reasons for you to come by and visit us. We have the full-size replica of the Old Testament tabernacle. There's the Shroud of Turin that we have here. And there's tours of the Crossroads Center. And go to crossroads.ca, look for the 50th anniversary logo, and find out all about the ways you can connect with us, all right?
We're celebrating 50 years of God's faithfulness and your faithfulness, of sharing together a passion for God and a passion for people.
Crossroads marks its 50th anniversary this June. Join David Mainse and the 100 Huntley Street Air Team as we celebrate 50 years of God's faithfulness. This week of special programming will include memorable guests, highlights from Salute to Canada, a peek at some 100 Huntley Street bloopers, and music from Crossroads' first singing group, the Kingsmen. Don't miss this exciting week of honoring the past and visioning for the future. Tune in May 28th to June 1st at 9 a.m. on Global TV and 11 a.m. and 9 p.m. on CTS.